Okay, so you think you've explored some strange ideas. Get ready, because today's deep dive takes us into the, let's just say, unique world of this dating advice PDF. How to attract any woman using these two powerful words, secret IW method revealed.
It's certainly a creative title.
Yeah, creative might be one way to put it. Our mission today is to uncover any valuable insights about communication and relationships that might be hidden, and I use that term loosely, beneath the surface.
Absolutely. Even with unconventional sources, we can usually pull out some valuable lessons.
Exactly. So let's dive into the first key point. The infamous I want method. This is the cornerstone of the entire PDF, and it's, well, something.
It claims that by simply stating your desires directly using I want statements, you can unlock the secrets to attracting women.
So basically, toss any subtlety out the window and just blurt out whatever comes to mind.
That's the gist, yes. But, and this is a big but, while the PDF takes this to an extreme, there is a valuable communication lesson here. Being able to articulate your desires is crucial in any relationship.
Okay, that's true. But there's a big difference between saying, hey, I'd love to grab coffee with you sometime, and like, I want you to skip that concert with your friends and stay home with me.
Exactly. And that's where this PDF goes off the rails.
Yeah.
It champions this directness without acknowledging the importance of respect, empathy, and understanding how your words might land on the other person.
Yeah, it's like the PDF forgot that relationships are a two-way street. You can't just bulldoze your way through with, I want statements and expect a positive response.
Precisely. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual understanding, respect, and a willingness to consider each other's feelings and needs.
It's about finding that sweet spot between expressing yourself authentically and being considerate of the other person, which this PDF seems to have completely missed. But maybe they'll redeem themselves with their advice on physical touch. What do you think?
Well, get ready, because this next part is strange. It involves oranges, and their interpretation of physical touch is probably not what you're expecting.
Okay, so according to the PDF, all it takes to win a woman's heart is mastering these 4 secret touch techniques. And get this, to illustrate these techniques, the author uses oranges.
You can't make this up.
You really can't. Okay, so the PDF claims that by practicing these specific ways of touching an orange, you can somehow translate those skills into making a woman, well, let's just say, more receptive to your advances.
And receptive.
That's putting it delicately. It's like they skipped over the whole concept of consent, respect, and personal boundaries.
Exactly. Framing physical touch as some kind of manipulation tactic is deeply concerning. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, open communication, and shared values, not on some bizarre touch-based trickery.
Agreed. So we've established that maybe we shouldn't be taking dating advice from someone who equates women to citrus fruit. But what about knowing when to walk away? The PDF does offer some guidance on that front, right?
It does. In fact, there's a whole section dedicated to identifying the signs that a woman is no longer interested and it's time to let her go.
And I'm guessing their advice is a bit nuanced.
Let's just say it leaves a lot to be desired. Essentially, the PDF provides a list of specific phrases that, if uttered by a woman, are supposed to be interpreted as relationship death knells.
Relationship death knells. So if she says any of these phrases, just turn and run, no questions asked.
That seems to be the PDF's stance. But, as you can imagine, reducing the complexities of human communication to a handful of predetermined phrases is woefully inadequate.
Right, because context is everything. And relationships are messy and complicated. Sometimes people say things they don't necessarily mean in the heat of the moment, right?
Exactly. We're all human, we all make mistakes, and reducing an entire relationship's worth of communication down to a few phrases is not only simplistic, but also dismissive of the importance of open and honest dialogue.
So what you're saying is instead of bolting at the first sign of trouble, maybe, just maybe, it's worth trying to work through those challenges together.
Precisely. Communication is key. Instead of jumping to conclusions and making assumptions, try to understand where your partner is coming from and why they might be feeling or saying certain things.
It sounds like this PDF could use a crash course in empathy and active listening. What do you say we take a quick break and then come back and unpack some more of this interesting advice?
Sounds like a plan. I'm curious to see what other unconventional wisdom this PDF has in store for us. All right, you ready to go back for more?
Hit me with it. What's next? How to win her over with, like a perfectly timed text message.
Well, we're moving on to a section all about finances. Money matters, but don't tell her how much.
Okay. This doesn't sound like it's about open communication and setting a budget together.
You'd be right to be skeptical. On one hand, the PDF stresses the importance of being a provider, demonstrating financial stability.
Which, I mean, we could unpack that whole bag of worms, the outdated idea that men are solely responsible for financial stability.
Right. But then, to make it even more confusing, they swing over to this whole idea of secrecy. It cautions men against revealing too much about their income or spending habits.
So be the provider, but be mysterious about it. What?
Hmm.
That makes zero sense.
It really highlights how this PDF seems stuck in a strange time warp, you know, clinging to these traditional ideas about masculinity and financial roles, but then simultaneously promoting this fear of women exploiting men for their money.
It's like a recipe for disaster. If you can't be open and honest about finances with your partner, how can you build a strong, trusting relationship?
Exactly. It undermines the whole foundation. It's fascinating, though, how this PDF does touch on things that matter in a relationship, like this open communication about finances, but then completely misses the mark on how to actually do it in a way that builds trust and intimacy.
It's like they're stumbling upon these important topics, but then they just completely veer off course with their advice. So what's next on our deep dive into the shallow end of dating advice, I guess?
Get ready, because this next section I found utterly perplexing. It's all about compliments.
Compliments. What could go wrong with a little praise and appreciation?
Well, according to this PDF, a lot. Apparently, most men are showering women with far too many compliments.
Wait, being kind and expressing appreciation is a bad thing now.
They argue that men should treat compliments like precious commodities, only to be given out sparingly when a woman has truly earned it.
Oh boy, here we go with this reward system. As if women are just sitting around waiting for men to validate them with a compliment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The baffling approach, right?
Yeah.
Genuine compliments that come from a place of authenticity and admiration can be incredibly powerful in a relationship. It's about recognizing and appreciating the qualities you admire in another person, not doling out praise strategically to shape their behavior or something.
Right, because nobody wants to feel like they're being manipulated with backhanded compliments or something. It's about recognizing what you genuinely appreciate about another person and expressing it, not holding back as some sort of weird power play.
Exactly. It seems this PDF has a rather distorted view of both giving and receiving compliments.
Okay, so enough with the oranges and the financial secrecy and the stingy compliments. What other, interesting insights does this PDF have for us?
Well, buckle up, because the next section delves into the world of physical touch.
Here we go again. Are we revisiting the joys of citrus-based seduction techniques?
Not exactly, although you're not far off in terms of the PDF's, let's say, unique approach. They go into great detail about specific touch techniques, moves, if you will, that supposedly make a woman, well, I'll spare you the specifics.
Yeah, no, I think I get the picture. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that reducing physical touch to a series of techniques to elicit a specific response is, well, problematic, to say the least.
It's deeply concerning. Physical touch should be about mutual pleasure, connection, intimacy, expressing love, affection, and desire in a way that feels good for both partners, not about one person trying to manipulate or control the other.
Exactly. It's about reading your partner's cues, respecting their boundaries, and understanding that physical touch is a privilege, not a right, which this PDF has conveniently overlooked. It's like they think relationships are a game and these techniques are the cheat codes.
And that brings us to a crucial point. This PDF, in its attempt to provide the shortcut to attracting women, completely misses the mark on what truly matters in building healthy, lasting relationships. Respect, empathy, genuine connection.
It's like they're trying to hack the system instead of doing the real work.
Precisely. Real relationships aren't built on these manipulative techniques or strategic maneuvers. They're built on a foundation of mutual trust, open communication, and a shared journey of growth and understanding.
So less orange squeezing, more heart-to-heart conversations.
Now you're getting it.
Okay, I'm ready for more wisdom from the trenches of questionable dating advice. What's next? How to win her back with a perfectly timed text.
Actually, you're closer than you think. This next section is about texting, but it's not exactly about crafting the perfect message.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What does the PDF have to say about navigating the wild world of digital communication?
Well, according to the PDF, men are making a fatal flaw when it comes to texting. We're being, get this, too responsive.
Too responsive? You mean like replying to messages promptly and engaging in conversation? Since when is that a bad thing?
Right. It seems counterintuitive, but the PDF suggests that by replying quickly and enthusiastically, men come across as Well, I'll let you guess.
Desperate. Needy. Is that what they're going for? Because I've
Ah,
got to say, telling people to just ignore basic courtesy and good communication skills seems like a recipe for disaster.
exactly. Ghosting and playing games are not the foundations of a healthy, respectful relationship. But of course, our PDF friends have a solution for this perceived problem of over-responsiveness.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but lay it on me. What's the magic solution?
Strategic delays.
Strategic delays, you mean like intentionally waiting hours, maybe even days to respond to a text? Because that just seems like it screams I'm playing games more than anything else.
Precisely. And the PDF doubles down, even providing a specific time frame for optimal text response time, a minimum of 3 to 4 hours before replying to a woman's text.
3 to 4 hours. What is this? The dark ages of dial-up internet.
Yep.
People will fall asleep waiting for a text back. In the real world, if you care about someone, you respond when you can in a way that feels natural and respectful.
Exactly. Communication should be about building bridges, not creating these unnecessary walls or playing mind games. It's about being present, engaged, and respectful of the other person's time and energy.
It sounds like this PDF could use a crash course in basic communication etiquette. Okay, so what's next on our adventure through the land of misguided dating advice? What other gems of wisdom have they got for us? How to win an argument by, like, refusing to engage or something?
You're not far off. This next section tackles the delicate art of handling conflict in a relationship. And let's just say their approach is a little theatrical.
Theatrical. I'm almost afraid to ask, but enlighten me. What's the PDF's recipe for resolving disagreements?
Well, they advocate for a tactic that can only be described as feigned indifference.
Feigned indifference, as in pretending you don't care. Because that's a surefire way to make things worse, right?
Precisely. Healthy conflict resolution involves open and honest communication, empathy, a willingness to understand your partner's perspective. It's about finding a compromise that works for both partners, not about one person trying to win or assert dominance through emotional manipulation.
Right. It's about working together to resolve the issue, not like one person trying to outcool the other or something. It's like they've mistaken a relationship for a poker game.
It's a dangerous game to play because in reality, emotional withdrawal and feigned indifference only serve to create distance and erode trust.
So instead of resorting to amateur dramatics, maybe a better approach is to, actually talk about the problem like mature adults.
Precisely. Address the issue head on with empathy, understanding, and a willingness to find common ground, because that's what healthy, functional relationships are built on, not on mind games and emotional manipulation.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Everything from oranges and compliments to finances and feigned indifference. What's next on this wild ride through the...
Well, let's just call it the unconventional side of dating advice.
Get ready for this one. The PDF dives headfirst into the often misunderstood realm of jealousy. Jealousy. Oh boy. That's a topic that can really bring out the worst in people. I'm almost scared to ask, but what sort of wisdom does this PDF offer on navigating those waters?
Well, according to this font of unconventional knowledge, the key to handling jealousy in a relationship is amusement.
Amusement, as in find it funny, entertaining. Because I've got to say, that doesn't exactly sound like the most empathetic or constructive response.
You're right to be skeptical. Jealousy, while it can be irrational sometimes, stems from a place of insecurity or fear of loss. It's a very real and valid emotion.
Right. It's about understanding where those feelings are coming from and addressing the root cause, not just brushing them off as silly or trying to make your partner feel small for experiencing them.
Exactly. So instead of chuckling at your partner's jealousy, a far more effective approach would be to approach the situation with empathy and understanding. Have an open and honest conversation about what's causing those feelings and work together to address the underlying issues.
Okay, so we're replacing mockery with empathy. Got it. What's next on the agenda? How to make her jealous by, like, posting photos of your new workout routine.
You're remarkably close. This next section delves into the all-too-familiar territory of breakups. And yes, you guessed it. The PDF takes a rather strategic approach to handling the aftermath.
Strategic. I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What's the PDF's recipe for, I don't know, mending a broken heart, or at least appearing to?
Well, according to this PDF, when a relationship ends, the most important thing for a man to do is immediately focus on self-improvement.
Self-improvement. Well, that doesn't sound inherently bad. What's wrong with using a breakup as motivation to better yourself?
You're right, there's nothing inherently wrong with self-improvement, but the PDF's approach seems a bit calculated.
Calculated. How so?
It's less about genuine personal growth and more about Well, showcasing your newfound happiness and success
Yeah.
to, well, you can probably
The
guess.
ex. It's all about making her jealous and regretting the breakup, right?
Precisely. The PDF encourages men to, like, post photos of their gym progress, their exciting social lives, their amazing new adventures, all with the intention of making their ex feel like they made a huge mistake.
Oh boy, here we go with the manipulation tactics again, because nothing says I'm over you like plastering evidence of your alleged happiness all over social media.
Yeah. It's a classic case of misplaced priorities. Breakups are a natural part of life, and while they can be painful, they also offer this incredible opportunity for reflection, growth, and learning.
So instead of turning a breakup into like an elaborate revenge plot, maybe a healthier approach is to actually take the time to heal, reflect, and grow as an individual.
Exactly. Because ultimately, the most fulfilling and authentic relationships are built on a foundation of self-love and acceptance, not on a desire to impress or manipulate someone else.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself for you, not for your ex.
Precisely. And that brings us back to a recurring theme we've encountered throughout this whole deep dive. Authenticity trumps manipulation every single time.
Well said. So less social media posturing, more genuine self-reflection and growth. Got it. What else is on the agenda? How to choose the perfect, I don't know, bouquet of strategically priced flowers.
You're on a roll. We're moving on to the delicate art of gift giving.
Okay, this I've got to hear. What kind of wisdom does this unconventional source offer on choosing the perfect present?
Brace yourself because this one's a doozy.
Yeah.
According to the PDF, the key to successful gift giving in a relationship is strategic spending.
Strategic spending, as in like being thoughtful, considering her interests?
Not exactly. The PDF frames it more as a cost-benefit analysis. They suggest that men should carefully calculate the value of each gift in relation to the stage of the relationship.
So love is a marketplace and gifts are the currency. That doesn't sound very romantic.
It highlights the transactional nature of their approach to relationships, doesn't it? They've completely missed the point that meaningful gift giving should be about expressing care and thoughtfulness, not adhering to some arbitrary formula.
Right. It's not about impressing someone with like your spending power. It's about finding something that genuinely reflects your partner's interests, hobbies, personality, no matter how big or small.
Exactly. A heartfelt handwritten letter, a playlist of songs that hold special meaning, a framed photo of a cherished memory. These gestures often speak volumes more than any expensive bauble ever could.
It's the thought that counts, not the price tag.
Yeah.
Okay, so less strategic spending, more heartfelt gestures. Got it. What's next? How to craft the perfect Instagram post to make her jealous.
You're remarkably good at this. We're venturing into the world of social media. And as you might have guessed, the PDF offers some, let's just say, unique perspectives on how men should be using it.
Okay, hit me. What's the big social media no-no, according to our PDF friends? Posting too many selfies? Using the wrong filter?
Those offenses did make the list, but the PDF does take issue with men being too authentic.
Too authentic. Wait, you mean like sharing glimpses of their lives, interests, and personalities? Because I was thinking that's the whole point of social media, to connect with people authentically.
You'd think, wouldn't you? But according to the PDF, being too open and vulnerable makes men appear unattractive.
Unattractive, seriously. You're telling me that being genuine and letting people see your true self is a turnoff? Because I'm pretty sure most people would wholeheartedly disagree with that.
You're preaching to the choir. Authenticity is crucial for building meaningful connections, both online and offline. But this PDF seems to be operating under the assumption that men need to project this carefully curated persona to attract women.
It's like they missed the memo that real connections are built on shared values, common interests, and genuine personalities, not on meticulously constructed online facades. And I mean, it's exhausting trying to be someone you're not. Eventually, the mask is going to slip.
Exactly. And when it does, it can be pretty damaging to your relationship.
So instead of treating social media like some kind of self-promotion platform where you're trying to create this like perfect image of yourself, maybe a better approach is to just be yourself.
Radical idea, right?
Right.
Share your passions, engage in meaningful conversations, and connect with others who appreciate you for who you are, not for who you're pretending to be.
Because at the end of the day, it's the real connections that matter, both online and offline. So less posturing, more genuine interactions. Got it. What else is on the docket for today's deep dive into, well, the shallow end of dating advice?
Let's talk about apologies. Ready to hear what they have to say about making amends.
Always. It's not like you can go wrong with a sincere apology, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But according to this PDF, men are making a grave error when it comes to apologizing. We're doing it too much.
Too much. You mean like taking responsibility for our actions and expressing remorse when we've hurt someone? Since when is that a bad thing?
You're hitting the nail on the head. Because a true apology is a powerful thing. It's about acknowledging the impact of your actions on another person, expressing genuine remorse, and making a concerted effort to do better in the future.
It's about showing respect for the other person's feelings and taking ownership of your mistakes. It's definitely not about dodging responsibility or trying to minimize the situation.
Precisely. But the PDF suggests that by apologizing too frequently, men diminish their power and come across as weak or insecure. It's like they've mistaken genuine remorse for some sort of character flaw.
It's as if they've forgotten that empathy and accountability are attractive qualities.
Absolutely.
Okay, so less avoiding apologies, more taking responsibility and expressing genuine remorse when it's warranted. Got it. What else have they got for us? I'm actually starting to get a little nervous about what other unconventional advice they might have up their sleeve.
Well, this last one is a doozy even for this PDF. Are you ready for their advice on what to do when a woman expresses jealousy?
Oh boy, I can only imagine. After that compliment strategically section, I'm not sure I'm emotionally prepared for this.
Brace yourself. They advise men to react with amusement.
Amusement, as in laugh it off. That's their big solution for navigating complex emotions, like jealousy.
You're catching on to the pattern here. So instead of recognizing jealousy as a potential signal to work on, like communication or insecurities of the relationship, they frame it as something to be dismissive of.
It's like they skipped over like a whole semester of emotional intelligence 101. Jealousy, I mean, yeah, it can manifest in unhealthy ways sometimes, but it often comes from a place of vulnerability.
Exactly. It can be an opportunity for a couple to address underlying issues, insecurities, past experiences, communication breakdowns. Instead of belittling those feelings, a more constructive approach would be to create a safe space for open and honest dialogue.
So, less laughing, more listening. Okay, I think I'm starting to see a theme here. This PDF seems to encourage a lot of tactics that create distance rather than connection.
That's a keen observation. And it brings us to a fundamental point that this PDF seems to miss entirely. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of trust, respect, and open communication.
It's about being present, engaged, and willing to do the work, not looking for shortcuts or trying to manipulate the other person.
Precisely. And while this PDF might offer a few nuggets of truth here and there, its overall approach to dating and relationships is, well, let's just say, it leaves a lot to be desired.
You know, it's almost like this PDF is accidentally revealing something deeper about the anxieties people face when it comes to dating.
How so?
Well, it's like they're so focused on finding the magic formula or the secret technique to attract women that they've completely missed the point.
Which is?
That genuine connection comes from authenticity, vulnerability, and a willingness to be your true self, not from trying to fit into some predetermined mold of what you think someone else wants.
That's a powerful insight. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to find our people. Those who appreciate us for who we truly are, quirks and all.
Exactly. And that's not something you can manipulate or strategize your way into. It comes from showing up as your authentic self, being open to connection, and treating others with respect, kindness, and empathy.
It's about building relationships based on mutual trust, open communication, and a shared journey of growth and understanding.
Well said. And maybe, just maybe, a little less about strategically squeezing oranges.
So let's leave those oranges alone.
Deal. So for anyone out there listening who might be feeling a little lost or discouraged in the realm of dating and relationships, remember this. You don't need a manual or a set of secret techniques.
Be yourself, be kind, be respectful, and trust that the right people will appreciate you for who you truly are.
That's the kind of dating advice I can get behind. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Indeed. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. Relationships, in all their messy glory, are a reflection of our deepest human need for connection. And while the journey might be filled with, twists and turns, awkward moments, and yes, even the occasional bad dating advice, it's through those experiences that we learn, grow, and ultimately discover what truly matters.
Beautifully said. So to our listeners, keep those hearts open, those minds curious, and remember, you've got this.
And as always, thanks for diving in with us.